Welcome to the Agribusiness Global Report, the show that brings you executives interviewing executives or experts working in the agrochemical, biological, and plant health industries. In this two-part presentation, Dr. Nicolas Potrie, Director of TAFIREL, interviews Ana Laura de la Sagua Ero from the Ero Group, one of the largest exporters of commodities from Uruguay, and Professor Ignacio Bartesagui from the Institute of International Business of the Catholic University of Uruguay. They'll discuss their recent visit to Malaysia, Thailand, and the Philippines. The trio is part of a group of executives from Mercosur countries looking to strengthen the relationship between those regions.
Thank you, Dan. Thank you, everybody from Agribusiness Global. We would like to introduce today our two guests that came from Latin America, from Uruguay, Mrs. Ana Laura de Lizaguerro from Ero Group. Welcome to join us. Ero is one of the biggest players and exporters of commodities and food from Uruguay. And on the other hand, we have Professor Ignacio Bartesagui from the Institute of International Business of the Catholic University of Uruguay. So both of you, welcome to this chat. And first of all, I would like to thank you, Agribusiness Global, to join this kind of interview, and we can share our insights of the trip that we did with the Mercosur-ASEAN Chamber of Commerce last month to Southeast Asia countries. So, Ana Laura, tell us a little more about your experience in that trip.
First of all, good morning for everyone. Thanks for this invitation. It's an honor for me to be part of this group. So our experience to these missions was absolutely fantastic. Was my first experience, my first step in Asia, in Southeast Asia and Asia too. So I think that was the best way to start my knowledge in person to this part of the world. The mission was with a very interesting group of people, business group. So the experience in general was 100% successful.
Which countries include that mission, and which organizations do you visit there?
The country that we visit was in this order: Malaysia, Thailand, and Philippines. Then by myself, I continued the trip to Singapore. So I think that the order of the visit, for my case, that was my first time there, was perfect. We had the best of hospitality, the best interlink, and the most impression that I had in this country was the pro-business that they are, all of them. So they are a goal. And looking forward 30 years ahead, and looking for business and thinking in the future all the time. So for us as a region, a Latin American, for us as a country, and for us as a company, we think that this kind of mission, this kind of trip is the best way, because we can show to the world our potentials as a group of country, our commitments that we had, but also our in potential that we have as a small country that we have in Uruguay, and the characteristics that we have difference with our neighborhood. So I strongly believe that it was the best way to start my visit in person to Asia.
That's great. That's great to hear. And also you belong to a bi-regional chamber of commerce that is not so common, that includes Mercosur countries and ASEAN countries. And Professor, I asked you about this chamber of commerce that is bi-regional, also includes a chair that university and a business institute also include, right?
Right, Nicolas, thanks for the invitation. Yes, the Mercosur-ASEAN Chamber of Commerce has a chair, an academic chair, that is called Mercosur-ASEAN Chair, that was launched in 2016. And the general idea there is to cooperate between different universities from different regions, Mercosur and ASEAN members. So we organize conference, we try to encourage the joint research, because the idea is we are far away from this region, from Mercosur countries. We don't talk a lot about ASEAN, about Southeast Asia. We don't talk about a lot about Asia at the end. So we need more information. We need to help private sector to have good information about trade, about trends, about what Ana Laura was talking about, that what is going on in the transformations in this region that is very fast. So the general idea of these years is to have more and more information. We launched in 2016 in Catholic University, the first chair. Then we opened one in Indonesia, in Jakarta. Then we opened another one in Malaysia. Then we have one in Vietnam. Now we're having some conversations with Philippines, Thailand, and we're also having conversations with Paraguay and Brazil. So we are working hard in links between our academicians and experts, because we think it's important to have more information for private sector. That was the reason, Nicolas, because I traveled with this group of business sector to help in this kind of information, to give more information about this region.
Yes, you join also some conference in universities and institutes where you talk about food security and the situation in the world that we are facing now after the pandemic, and also during this war between Ukraine and Russia, and how can affect our industry of food, and how do you feel about and what is your opinion about this situation between Southeast Asia and US and China tensions also, right?
Okay, we're in the international arena, we are crossing a lot of problems. Of course, these tensions between China and US is affecting all the global economy. Of course, the war in Ukraine. Of course, this part, Southeast Asia countries were really impacted because of COVID. Not only because of the general impacts of COVID in the global economy, but in particular because of China. When we talk about these countries, we need to understand that the links and the relation with China is very strong in different issues, investments, trade, services, infrastructure. We saw that in this visit. So the impact of COVID, the impact of the war, of course, was very hard for ASEAN members. But in the case of Mercosur, I think we have a role there. And Laura was talking about that. We are very good exporters of food. We can export more food. In the case of Uruguay, we are a very small country. We must remember to the audience that we are 3.4 million people here, but we can export food for more than 50 million people. And Mercosur is a very, very big global player, for Brazil. So we can export to this region that are really worried about the safety alimentation. They're really worried about the supply of these kind of products, because they are buying more and more food. Why they are buying more and more food? Because the middle class of this region is increasing very fast. So the patterns of consumers are changing. So we need to identify that opportunities and to sell more and more food. So impacts because of the war and impacts because of these tensions between China and US, of course, are not good for the global economy. But in the case of Mercosur, I think, and Laura can help me here for sure, I think that we have a lot of opportunities. Because of the war, we have some supply restrictions. Because of the climate situation, also, we can play a role there, so we can support this region in sell more and more food, and not only food, but in food, I think that is the most big opportunities for Mercosur countries.
With the private sector that you visit, also Chamber of Commerce, and Laura also, you visit some profile of customers that you visit in Asia, potential customers. So what can you tell us about this kind of business opportunity that you saw in the trip?
Yes, as we've been talking, the opportunity for us is huge as a region and as a country. We think and believe that Asia is not only China, and we must diversify our destination of our product, and Southeast Asia is the perfect customers for our products. In our company, we start to export to this kind of the world, the ASEAN member, around 10 years ago, with excellent results, with excellent relationships. And this opportunity was perfect to meet them face to face, with one of them, the two of them, third of them, and then a new opportunities that we found potentials. They talking about grains, they can receive small vessels, some small ports with imports by containers. So for us, it's okay. And I always talk about the importance that we have as a export of grains. Grains as a commodity right now has a strong work in all the traceability and all the certifications and all the sustainable change. So we are looking for customer and that we have the same demand, so the same needs, and we found it. We must to continue to work in this, because it's the way that the Uruguay can position our products in the best way. So we have the strong belief that this is the way.
And about prices, because here we always are worried about the price of the commodities, and what small thing that happen in other part of the world affect immediately our business and our situation. No, so what can you tell us about these trends?
Grains right now, especially soybean, we are in weather market that we talk in grain markets. Right now, United States has waiting for more rains. Some rains are coming, and that it's okay. But the key and the headlines will be in the offer. So what is going to happen with the offer, and that is the way that the rest of the things going to move. So we are now looking for United States, and we have to wait what is going to happen.